Welcome to Testimony, a musician story. Heard at testimonystories.com and narrated by myself, Brown Theory, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Let's get started.
J-Love, Chris Cobbins, Just B, our brother. Let's do it. Neighbors hear it thumping next door. Can't believe I made it. I'm shaking up, the walls vibrating through the floor. I need it, it's building up. I can't keep it, let it go. Hold it down, I can't do it, no. I crank it. Turn it down, I can't do it, no way. I crank it. Look, I be working hard till it's late.
Christopher Lee Cobbins was born on August 30th, 1984, in Kansas City, Missouri. He was the firstborn of his mother and father, who were unmarried at the time. His father conceived another boy, Chris's half-brother, with another woman. A couple years later, his father gave his life to Christ, and shortly after, his mother did the same. When Chris was 4, he was the best man in his parents' wedding. The couple eventually had 2 more children, a boy and a girl. Chris's grandfather and father are pastors. So the Cobbins family spent a lot of time in church.
I hold it down for my squad. I be reppin' the kingdom so they all know who you are. Say, yeah, I ain't never been in nothing better. It's gonna be your favorite song. Let's show 'em how we put it down. Let's show 'em how we do it now. Yeah, I'm all the way turned up and in the air. Hey, if this your favorite song, let's show 'em how we put it down. Let's show 'em how we do it now. They say, give it up, you're wasting time. What's the point? Slow it down. No, sir, I bet I go harder because I'm running on the strength of my father. Secretly, they want to see me win, cause that means there is hope for thee. That's why I represent for my savior. I hold it down for my squad. And I be reppin' the kingdom till they lay me out in that bar.
I never really thought it was a lot of time until I grew up, and then because we went to kind of a old school style kind of Baptist church where my grandfather was the pastor when I was growing up. And that means like 3 services a Sunday. You got Wednesday night service. We had Tuesday night service. We had choir rehearsal. Back then it was on Saturdays. And then we might have a church engagement with another church like once a week. So we were literally in church like at least 3 nights a week, but probably 5 a lot of times. And so as a kid, I never really thought it was a lot because it was just what we did. And then when I grew up, and now my dad's my pastor of our church for the last, 14 years. And now that we just do morning service, and every blue moon we'll have an afternoon, we don't really do night service. Once we got there, I was like, man, we were in church all the time. I don't know how we had time to spend with each other, but, I guess, if you're in a good place where everything is healthy, the relationships are healthy, you don't really worry about kind of the peripheral things that are going on. You're just happy to be around each other and happy to have good relationships with each other.
Oddly enough, Chris did manage to have time to play sports, but nothing outside of that. Since both his parents worked and Chris was the oldest, he spent his summer and winter breaks babysitting his siblings. He had no social life, and he proudly wore the title of church boy.
Like, I was like the church boy that you see on TV, the one they make fun of. It's like the stereotypical, like and I'm not ashamed of it either. Like, I didn't cuss. People, my friends would be like, man, come on, just say a cuss word. Your dad ain't gonna hear you, man. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. My dad said that I should, I was that kid. I had glasses, still do, but had the big glasses, goofy looking glasses. And I used to wear, I didn't have any fashionable clothes because my dad, one, there was a point in which we didn't have as much money. And then the other part was like, my dad wasn't into buying us a whole bunch of stuff just because we wanted it. He wanted us to earn it. make good grades, then you get something. If you do what we ask you, you keep your room clean, then we reward you or something. So that was a good lesson to learn, I believe. But it was rough, man. People, it seemed like everything that everybody wanted to do had absolutely nothing to do with Jesus. Had nothing to do with doing what you were supposed to do. Your parents told you to do. And the only thing that made me semi-cool growing up, especially right toward middle school and everything, was the fact that I played sports. I played basketball, I played baseball, and I was a good athlete. Other than that, absolutely no chance of having friends.
We do this for one. I do this for one. We do this for one. Yeah, I do this for one. Yeah, what life was meant for. Only want your attention.
Like what you're hearing so far? Check us out at testimonystories.com.
That's testimony stories with an S.com.
Where you can hear content for you and about you. Everyone has a testimony. Everyone has a testimony. And we want to hear yours. Tell us how God has transformed your life. Each month, we will select a person to highlight and interview. Find out more at testimonystories.com.
Testimony.
A musician's story. Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and listen.
A musician's story.
What's good, world? It's your man Chris Cobbins, and you are now listening to Testimony, a musician's story.
Say my name, say you love me. I'll be your fave. I hear it, trust me. Number one in your options, but I take it in with caution. Twitter love, yeah, I get it. Radio, got me spinning. Can't let it throw me off, bruh.
His senior year, he grew into his looks, got some fashionable glasses, and wasn't considered a nerd anymore, but was looked at as a smart kid. This all proved to be quite helpful for his social life once he graduated and went off to the University of Central Missouri.
And so once I went to college, I went from nobody cares who I am, all the girls think I look halfway crazy or ugly, to literally I felt like I was like almost a big man on campus as a freshman. Everybody knew me in a short period of time. I hung with a crew of a couple other freshmen, and we were like the guys down there, at least amongst the black people on campus. I won a pageant thrown by the frats down there, the black fraternities and sororities. We did fashion, we did talent, we did community service, we did impersonations. And I impersonated Usher one night, so I sang and I danced. And after that, college got difficult for me because girls started to like me, and I didn't know what to do with that. Never had that happen before. And so I liked myself a lot in that year or two. There wasn't a lot you could tell me. But I would say, fortunately, in retrospect, I wasn't comfortable enough with like sex and things like that to really kind of, if you want to seal the deal, if you will, with ladies and stuff. So I was being respectful because that's all I knew how to do. I didn't know how to talk to a girl, then go back to her room bring a condom, all the other stuff that my boys was doing. I didn't know how to do it, not what I was taught, not what I was doing growing up there. And so I would go, girls would have me come in their rooms and invite me to the bed, and I'll sit on the floor and talk to them. They'll lay down, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm about to go to sleep. And I'll lay on the floor and go to sleep. Like, I didn't know how to be that guy. So I never had sex with anybody, even though there was a point in which girls were pretty much throwing themselves at me. I was singing everywhere, and, it was kind of crazy to me. But I was like, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to, a couple of times I tried to be that guy, and it just didn't work out. So fortunately, God kept me sexually speaking. So I actually got married without ever having having sex.
Ladies, this one's for you. Let's do it. Said you didn't really want much, just someone who really loves ya. Send flowers, take you out to lunch, and nobody threw their hat in the ring. Friday nights on the sofa, popcorn and a cream soda. Glass empty, nobody to toast ya. Right about now, you'll settle for anything. But you deserve more than a young guy that'll run around on you. And I think you know it. You're just tired of trying to find Mr. Right. If you want love, you shouldn't have to play a game for it. There's a man who knows you deserve it. So tell the one you with, this is it. Oh, you can march on. You can march on. Just pack your bags and move on. Yeah. Oh, you can march on. You can march on. Yeah, you can tell them march on. Get out, let me see you now. Let me see you now. Let me see you now. Yeah, you can tell them march on.
Testimony.
Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and
A
listen.
musician's story.
Connect with Testimony, a musician story through social media. Find links to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more at testimonystories.com. A musician's story.
You know it's us, babe.
You are listening to Chris Cobbins' Testimony, a musician story.
Let's do it.
Chris got married at the age of 21 to a woman he considered to be the most annoying girl on the face of the earth when they were kids. They attended the same church, and it turns out she was crushing on the church boy nerd. Of course, since they were kids, that meant she pestered him and got on his nerves. The family stopped attending the same church, so there was a period when they didn't see each other. Then one day, the little girl that Chris never paid no mind to grew up to be an attractive woman he couldn't keep his eyes off of. So he wifed her up, despite the fact that in today's culture, he was pretty young.
Please believe that I heard that every time somebody found out I was getting married. Man, yeah, you kind of young, ain't you? And I was just like, what would I be waiting on? I mean, you gotta experience some stuff. What am I waiting to experience? And a lot of times people talk about sexual stuff. I'm like, man, listen, biblically speaking, we're supposed to have those experiences with our spouses. A lot of people don't get that, and that's cool. There's grace for that and everything. But if you can make it there like that, that's kind of ideal. And so I'm glad I did. Glad I didn't listen to people. I was kind of a mature kid for my age. I always kind of was, because I did actually listen to my parents when they, tried to give me instructions. So I learned a lot from my dad. My dad made a lot of mistakes, and so I was able to kind of see the effect of a lot of different mistakes that you can make as a man. And I decided I didn't want to go that way. So, you know, I found a lady who was a wife early, and I talked to my dad about it, you know, and I started working hard to get a good job and started looking at places to live and took that initiative and, you know, obviously prayed a lot. And when everything started to happen, we told him, said, hey, man, you know, if you want to get married, let's rock. Bought a ring, and I actually proposed to her on a horse and carriage ride. You know, I've been loving it ever since, man. We're friends, and I think that's what makes our marriage dope, because we like each other. You know, we love each other, yeah, but we prefer each other over, you know, people, you know what I'm saying, as far as friends are concerned. So I had our first one 5 months ago. We waited a while. Enjoy marriage as young people, you know, and be able to, you know, kind of be past that you get on my nerves stage of learning how to get, how to live with somebody else. They got a lot of bad habits, and, you know, you don't want to bring, you know, a lot of negativity into child rearing if at all possible. And so we were in a position where we could, so we chose to wait.
I'm looking for you, and I will find you, baby. Right here all the time. I was right here all the time. You couldn't believe it. Everything's just right. Like everything feels right. Please believe. Let me see your heart. Now put yours in mine. If you say hello, I'll never say goodbye. 'Cause I wanna go. You the one. Baby girl, I tell you the one. You the one. I have never felt a love like this. You the one. Baby girl, I tell you the one. Yeah. You the one. Who knew that we'd be in love? It ain't been all easy. We had to grind to get that. Said you ain't never leave it. And I'll stand with you like that.
They were married for 7 years before having baby Drew. Chris dropped out of college and became a firefighter. His schedule works perfectly with him being an artist because it allows him to make music and travel. As a young kid, Chris was always singing and dancing, but he never took it seriously until he was 19. That is when he got interested in the art of songwriting.
And I was like, man, how can these people write songs for nothing? Like, how do you get a song from blank space? You make a melody, you write this song. And so I studied that. I talked to somebody, and they said, man, just write from the heart. You know, and I was like, but I mean, I don't have all these cool things to talk about. I haven't been through a lot of experiences. They was like, man, just write about the stuff you have been through. So I started doing that, and it started to kind of flow. And so I hooked up with a guy, and I tried to get him to produce me. And say, hey, man, I'm writing these songs, man. I need somebody to make some tracks, somebody I'd known for a while. And he laughed at me. And so I was like, you know, what's funny? He's like, man, you ain't making no music. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to do this myself. So I asked him to teach me how to make tracks on his keyboard. He taught me, and I started making my own tracks. And I actually put out a full album called Kryptonite based on the tracks that I made myself. I learned how to record myself. I mixed it myself. I got an opportunity to open for Lecrae when he came to Kansas City. A guy saw me performing, and he used to bring big artists into the city. He said, I want you to open up for Lecrae when I bring him here in December. It was actually December 5th, 2000. I remember the exact date. Because I got to talk to Lecrae that day. He asked me about my project. I gave him the project that I had made myself. I paid for it, released it. My boy did the graphics. My boy from college. He came out during my set, said he enjoyed it. You know, hit me on Twitter 2 weeks later. And then 2 weeks after that, Trip Lee was emailing me about a song. And that's a song we did called Life 101. And the very next project I was on was Lecrae's Rehab. I was out on a date with my wife. We were coming from the movies, and I had been given Lecrae's number in his email. And so I had it in my phone, and our phone starts ringing, and up pops a name, Lecrae Moore. And we're looking at each other like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on right now? And so I answered, and that's the day he asked me to write some stuff, or do one song with him from Rehab. So, I mean, still probably one of the coolest moments in my life. And I tell people all the time, man, you don't have to be in a certain city, state. You don't have to know people. All you got to do is walk in your purpose and your destiny that God is planning for you, and he'll make sure that you get where you're supposed to get. Don't worry about where you're supposed to be in the future. Just take care of today. use what he has, he's giving you. Use what your hands can use today, and he'll kind of fill in the gap for the rest.
My other homie said God wants to bless you, and yes, you should call upon his name for your rescue. He'll give you all you need. Here's the son, he accepts you. You might need test tubes, prayers, he corrects you. Now I done heard a lot of he say, she say, in my life and time, and the days keep rolling. No replay. I wanna be sure to live it right, 'cause I want that, I need that, and that's real, homie. I can't believe that, help me find which way should I go with my life, yeah. Now should I follow what you say, or should I come up with my own way? What you say, they tell me, I'm looking for advice, man, that'll never fail me. Questions, so confused, hoping you don't let me down. If only there was somebody who had it all figured out. Yeah, that would get me straight.
Testimony.
Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and
A
listen.
musician's story.
Everyone has a testimony, and we want to hear yours. Tell us how God has transformed your life. Each month, we will select a person to highlight and interview. Find out more at testimonystories.com.
Testimony.
Download the podcast of Testimony, a Musician Story on iTunes. Find out how at testimonystories.com.
A musician's story.
Chris has one Stellar Award for his work on Trip Lee's album, a Dove Award for his work on Lecrae's Rehab, The Overdose, and a Grammy nomination for his work on Lecrae's Rehab. Not bad for being a newbie to the game.
So close I can taste it. Ready or not, here's my shot, and I swear I'ma give it all. It's all new to me. First time my eyes have seen places I'd only be in my dream. I'm where I belong, coming into my own. Sometimes I feel alone, still I sing. Hello world.
I know people who work in the music industry. I got a lot of friends who do both Christian and mainstream, and it take them years and years to get certain things, to get certain places. And have my first two placements give me like real life awards. A couple Dove wins with Lecrae's Rehab and stuff. It's pretty amazing. I even had one of my songs get nominated that I did with Flame called All I Need. And it was nominated for Urban Recorder Song of the Year at the Doves in 2012. So I got to walk the red carpet that year because I was an official nominee. My name was on the deal. Montel Jordan announced that category, and it was just cool to hear him say my name. Just like, I'm like, man, I was on the red carpet walking next to Angie Stone and Dawkins and Dawkins. I don't take any of this for granted, man. I understand that. All of these kind of good days and good kind of extreme rewarding extreme awards given my everyday life. It's a gift from God, man, and I just wanted to cherish the moments. Took a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, and it's cool that I had the awards on my mantle to kind of commemorate that day. It's pretty awesome.
I potentially one-dimensional, but that's just how they want me to be. Conventional, and predictable, but now I'm thrown into a new me. First time my eyes have seen places I'd only be in my dream. I'm where I belong, coming into my own. Sometimes I feel alone, still I sing.
His previous release, Hello World, debuted number 33 on the Billboard Gospel chart in the fall of 2013. That was a joyous occasion that was abruptly interrupted when he learned that his half-brother Ryan was found shot to death. His EP, August Season, Take One, was birthed out of that season.
Yeah, I ain't never been good, now I realize it. Thoughts all in my head on some weird logic. I'm losing grip, but I act like I still got it. And I know joy's supposed to come now, but I'm still crying. Oh, you said you won't ever let me down. Come close, please now. I can't see you behind the cloud. And that's all on me, but I aim to please you. Cause I know when it's heavy, I'm going down. I go down, falling down, falling down. I'm so glad there's a place where I let them go. I give my burdens to you, Lord, cause you care. You care. You care.
August Season is like the project that came out of the hardest season of my life. As I said before, at the end of 2013, from like June to December, in June, my wife, she had her first miscarriage, and jacked us up. We were excited about being pregnant and just messed us both up a little bit. So I was just a little sad, but everything in life doesn't go perfectly. God is still good. My whole world hasn't fallen down. I just need to talk to some people and trust God in this moment. So we did that. And then we found out shortly after, a few months later, that she had another failed pregnancy. And then my project came out. And so I'm having to promote my project, from Twitter and all the social media spots. They're like really sad, to be honest. But trying to have some joy about what was going on. And then my album came out and we made 33 on the Billboard chart. And that was awesome. So that was kind of a joyous peak. Then 2 weeks, 3 weeks after my album came out, my brother went missing, actually. We didn't think it was a big deal. We just figured that nobody could get a hold of him right quick. We'll hear from him in a couple of days. Days turned into a month. A month turned into 2 months. And we were kind of thinking, like, man, I think that maybe he's gone, man. And so we started to kind of accept that. And me and my brother and my wife and going to Tennessee on New Year's Eve to do a show with them. And on our way back, my dad called us and said they had found my brother's body in an abandoned house. And so, had to deal with that. Right after I was supposed to go to the Stellars that year and do a couple showcases. Obviously, I didn't go. It was like a week after the funeral. And so just hard, rough. Didn't know if I was going to be able to write music anymore. It was just sad, just didn't have anything to write about that I wanted to share with the world. But, I think God had a different plan. So he allowed some things to happen for me to get that passion back. And so I started writing again. And August Season, Take One is literally the writings that came from that season. I'm not necessarily talking about what happened on this project. I'm more talking about the state mentally, the state that your heart can be in rough times, in sad times. Sometimes you can want to revert back to old ways that made you feel good, so that you can kind of, if you used to drink, you might almost want to go back to the bottle. If you smoked, you might want to go pick up something to smoke. If you watch pornography, you went to strip clubs, you might want to do that to try to get your mind off or whatever. And I write about the temptation to kind of revert back to some of the bad habits. But I also write about the strength that's provided by the indwelt Spirit of God in those times. We're not promised that things will be easy, and we're also actually told that we'll be tempted. But we're also told about the power of God and the fact that we can do all things through Him. Everybody has a time where they had to kind of reinvent themselves and kind of have a rebirth of some sort, had to get back to basics. And I just want to make music that's relatable in that fashion, to rebirth, going through things, but coming out of it. As long as I'm on earth, I have purpose. And so it's about kind of renewing that purpose and charging forward.
I ain't never been strong, now I realize it. The only thing in me whole is what you bind it. One step away from you feels like 10,000. And I ain't got too much pride to tell you why I'm still crying. Oh, you said you won't ever let me down. Come close, please.
Thank you for listening to Testimony, a musician's story. To hear this episode again, as well as past episodes, visit testimonystories.com. Until next time, I'm Brown, Theory of the Music Lover, constantly seeking positive music.